And Geoffrey, good to see you on camera. I can see you clearly and you're coming through really well. Can I just get a quick sound check from you before we kick off?
Yeah, sure. Hi, everyone. Great to be here. And thank you for joining.
Wonderful, nice and clean. Okay, we'll just, Geoffrey, I'll give it about 2 minutes. Sorry, about a minute or two, and then you can kick off. I think you're a man that needs no introduction, so I'm going to leave it to you to introduce yourself and take the session from here.
Can you let me know, boy, if you can see my screen?
Yep, coming through well.
Great. Yeah, so thank you, everyone, for joining the session on overcoming barriers to sustainable OpenStreetMap communities. This is organized by the community working group, so it's not only me. So yeah, huge shout out to all the members of the community working group that are joining this call as well. And just a reminder that the community working group, as well as the other hot working groups, are open and free for everyone to join. If you want to get to contribute a bit more than just mapping or validation, you can join any hot working group and be able to participate. Yeah, so this session is a dialogue session. I'm looking for you to participate in terms of contributing ideas on how you are trying to solve the challenges you're facing around building a sustainable open map community. And as we are going into, Audacious, you have been hearing talks about this, which has been announced. But one of the biggest goals is to have sustainable OSM communities at the end of Audacious. So yeah, there are of course a few challenges that communities face. And we have been doing some getting some feedback from communities, like on what kind of challenges they face. But the purpose of this session is to try and get you to get to share your experiences on how you have been trying to solve some of these challenges, because you have been doing this for a long time and you have seen some things work and some things not working. So I would like you to be able to share your experiences with the rest of us. So on the feedback workshops we did with where many of you also participated, one of the questions we asked was around the challenges that communities face. So the challenges have already been identified, and our goal is right to find solutions to some of those challenges. One of those ones that was really standing out was around volunteer engagement. Also, yeah, issues around raising funding, um, capacity building around tools, equipment, space, access to internet, um, collaboration with government and local organizations, issues around OSM data quality measuring, and also community structure. But specifically talking about volunteer engagement, there are two big questions that came up around commitment of members, volunteer retention, gender, where I find like in most communities, most of their members are men and very few other gender involved. So time, lack of volunteer time, where people also have like their normal jobs they do and feel like time is not enough for them to get involved in other volunteer activities. Yeah, but we don't have enough time to go into all of these challenges. So we are picking out two challenges which I want us to use this time to try and get solutions to. And yeah, when that time comes, I'd love you to help and jump in and join the discussion. We're going to be using this tool. It's called Jambot. And I'd like you to just quickly try it out in 1 minute. So I'm dropping the link in the chat. And yeah, feel free to
Geoffrey, I just dropped it in there for you.
Thank you. That's very helpful. So the way it works is you pick a sticky note from right here, and then you type in something and then you post it. So I'll just show you how this works, but also you can go in and just introduce yourself, just your name and your mapping community or organization. So just 1 minute for you to try it out, and then we shall go into the discussion questions. Yeah, you can also move the sticker note around. So yeah, great to see many of you already joining and some people helping to space out the sticker notes. So thank you very much. And for those of you who are not able to type in on the sticker note, when you reach the questions, feel free to post your answer in the chat, and one of our volunteers will pick it up and post it here. Okay. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and go to the questions that we need to discuss in the interest of time. Good to see you, Jana from MSF. Giving a few more seconds to see some more names here. Type your name and your organization. Rebecca, thanks for joining. Okay. Yeah, so proceeding to the questions, the first one is just around volunteer retention and commitment. Very many people have always mentioned that, okay, you're trying to build a community, you get volunteers on board, but very few stick around. But we also know, like, some of you have, have been successful in this, in getting people interested in OpenStreetMap, in volunteering with your community, and they are stuck around. So, like, what are the strategies you are using to do this? So I'd love for you to share, and we're going to give 3 minutes for everyone to post their ideas. So feel free to grab a sticky note and yeah, give an answer to this question. And then after that, we shall give a few more minutes for people to discuss around the answers put up. So grab a sticky note, yeah, post the strategy you are using with your community, and post it on. If you're not able to type into the sticky note, drop your answer in the chat and someone will pick it from there and post it here. So we are giving this, yeah, 3 minutes, and then we continue with the discussion. Thank you.
Geoffrey, you're on mute.
Thank you, Pete. So yeah, I was just mentioning that one of the things that was mentioned this morning in one of the workshops was also youth mappers saying some students have, like, commitments around their own schoolwork, and they're trying to get them to contribute to OpenStreetMap. They find like they have other obligations, so how do they balance time? Those that find time, how do they get to do it? So yeah, for the youth mappers also that are in the room, also would like to hear your ideas around that. Okay, 30 more seconds, and then we will go into discussion around this. So a lot of great ideas coming in. Thank you for your contributions. Okay, so yeah, we're going to go into discussion, and feel free to post your like hand in the chat or edge, so that we can try to control who comes in to mention. So if you have posted something and you'd like to elaborate more about it, yeah, just type H in the chat and I'll give you a chance to speak. But yeah, there is a comment here that someone shared from the Czech Slovakia community, saying they use Trello to engage with the volunteers. So maybe we can start with that. So whoever posted this, could you please come on mute and share a bit more?
Hi, that's Jana from the Czech office of Médecins Sans Frontières. And we have a very dedicated team of core team members, but they've been sticking around a long time. And the danger is that if one or two of these leave, we don't have enough trainers for Mapathons. So we do need to create new core team members. And since basically the online Mapathon started, we haven't had any new core team member because it's very difficult in the online time to maintain the personal relationships, to pick out who's interested and to like make them help them move to the next mile. And so maybe what we'd need to do is to organize casual check-ins, like somebody's suggesting, but just for the interested people to become core team members, to give a little bit of their time to make the community run. We haven't been able to get around this challenge, so any suggestions would be appreciated.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. Yeah, and if anyone has any suggestions on how to overcome some of that challenge that you have mentioned, please feel free to get back to us on that. There's also something here about providing opportunities to the existing volunteers, and I would love to hear more about that. Like, what kind of opportunities do volunteers need, and how can the community provide those kind of opportunities? Yeah. So anyone who posted this, please feel free to go off mute and expand more on this. Yeah, an interesting idea here: make maps eatable. That sounds interesting. I think, yeah, if they become eatable, then people are more likely to, to stay around and contribute more. There's also something around coordinating closely within university student clubs, co-benefiting from the retention of the organization in the network. Yeah, I think working with university is something that is key. Anyone who would like to expand on that?
Can you hear me?
Yes, Jen.
Yeah, that was my note, and that's part of our community organizations in Turkey, and we only have one Youth Mappers chapter in Turkey at the moment registered. We are trying to increase the number of registered Youth Mappers chapters in Turkey, but we still have in close connections with more maybe 10, 12 university clubs from different universities. So we are in close communication and coordination so that they have a retention, because they have the students at the same department, the members of the same club for longer time. So that is also benefiting our longer term and ongoing activities with them being easier.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Jan. And I just want to move to Wille Frank, who posted make the maps eatable. Yeah, maybe that's something that has worked for you, Wille, in Cameroon, and could you please expand more on that? Yeah, Wille Frank, would you like to jump in? Yeah, there's something that,
Excuse me, can you come back? I did not understand your question. I was somewhere else.
yeah, I think you mentioned that you were the one who posted make the maps eatable, and I was just asking you if you could elaborate more on that.
No, it's exactly what you have just explained. It just make it to be very attractive. You know, something that is very like that can bring some appetite. That is, make it to be easily digestible by people. That's really what you have explained when you saw the comment.
Yeah, is this something you have done in already done like in Cameroon? Like how have you made the map more attractive to volunteers and to make them stick around?
It's something you need to discuss with the community about what they are, the end users. You have to understand their needs, the end users. What do they really want? What is the everyday, let's say, needs that they have using the map? You can build like you can build some maps that can help them have direct information that they need in order to use them easily. It can also be web map service. It's not only cartography, simple cartography. So you have to think about the end users and build a specific tool for them and make it to be easily accessible for non-specialists also.
Mm. Yeah, thank you. I think, yeah, there's also like a lot of interesting ideas in the chat. Someone mentioned snacks, pizza for mapathons. I think it's something that also, yeah, you know, attracts mappers to come and join the event, but also it is costless. So there is like a question of cost, like, is that sustainable? If you are going to provide pizza for each mapathon, like who's going to pay for the pizza? Are the people like willing to pay for contribute to the pizza, or you have to look for other sources of funding? Yeah, so lots of interesting ideas here, and of course we are going to keep this notes and go back to them, or even write a blog post and share with the community. But I just want us to proceed to the next question, just in interest of time. And that is around, you know, diversity in your OSM community. So leave alone the global OSM community, but just your group. When you think of it, how many, you know, yeah, what's the like the gender diversity in your team? How many like older people do you have in your community, or are you just focusing on just young people? So in terms of like yeah, diversity, yeah, please post in your answers on this. What strategies are you using to make sure yeah, you have diversity in your community, or is something you don't care about? So if it's something you care about, please share some of the things you have tried. I know Janet Chapman, who is on the call, he had tried something in Tanzania and went to rural women and gave them smartphones to try and contribute to OpenStreetMap. And these are like older women in villages who had never tried to use a map, a digital map before, and interested to hear such things. Like, what initiatives are you taking? So please go in the Jambot and post some answers. And if you're not able to, please yeah, post in the chat. If you're not able to type on the Jambot, you can type your answer in the chat as well. So we have 3 minutes to post your answers, and then we can go into discussion. Someone also has a question. Has anyone here held events with a disability, with a focus on disability? For example, willmap.org. This is someone from willmap and would love to get what more involved here. Yes, thank you for posing that question. I think, yeah, some people might be really involved. So yeah, willmap.org, if you could also share your contact in the chat if someone would like to follow up with you on this. I've seen before, like the team in Indonesia one time did a mapathon with people who are visually impaired, and they were trying to train them on OpenStreetMap. So having more women stroke LGBTQ in leadership. So encouraging people, women to take lead, shoulder tapping, people who should contribute, actively bring people into the conversation, by mapping our diversity. That's a good one. Special support to organize fast mapathons for smaller towns or universities and explain how they could start their own mapping group. So making sure video materials are subtitled. I think this is very important. Like sometimes language can also be a barrier for some people, or even like for people who don't hear. Okay, so let's we have some great answers coming in, and I think we can now jump into discussion. I think I would start with having more women in leadership. Like how do we achieve this? Having more women stroke LGBTQ people in leadership, how do we encourage this in our community? How do we make it happen? Because having it as something you want is something different, but actually making it happen is very important. So I'd like to invite whoever added this to share some more about it, please. And after that, we shall go to Anissa, who would like to, no, Anissa loves the name diversity, but let us first start with encouraging more women and other people in leadership. So whoever added this, could you please come off mute and share? Or anyone who wants to share about something, kindly just type in the chat and you can come off mute and share. Creating safe spaces for everyone. I'd like to invite you, Miko, to talk about this. How do we create safe spaces for everyone to be able to contribute? Miko, are you able to go off mute and share? Lots of good answers coming in on the Jambot, but I'd love to hear some of your voices, please. Mika was just asking if you could expand more on making safe spaces for everyone to contribute. Like, how do we achieve that? How can people go about that?
Hi, Geoffrey. Maybe in every mapathon or talk that we have, we secure everyone that, or we just at least state that that what we're having is a safe space, and encourage people to voice out more and be accepting of whatever they have to share, something like that.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi, Geoffrey. This is Janet. Can I say a little bit about youth mappers in Tanzania?
Please go ahead, Janet.
So we've set up a number of chapters in rural Tanzania, and generally the pattern has been the same. When we've asked for volunteers for the positions of power, generally all of the men have volunteered and none of the women. So we've generally made sure by asking several times that there is equal representation. And this has happened, but it wouldn't have happened if we hadn't carried on saying there has to be one man and one woman. So it has been quite challenging to get to that position.
Yeah, thank you for sharing, Janet. I think that's very important. Like for leadership positions, just making sure, like maybe it's written in the Constitution, that maybe 50% of the leadership should be women, because like sometimes, like you mentioned, some people don't easily come out and take a leadership position. So that's, thank you for sharing that. Yeah, and just about what someone from WILMAP asked, I just want to ask, yeah, for someone from the Indonesia community to share about what you did around training people with disabilities, like people who are visually impaired, people like how did you make this work, and is it something you're still doing? Like what lessons can other people learn from you? So yeah, Harry or anyone from the Indonesia team, if you'd like to share. Harry, would you like to share about this? Yeah, and we are almost at the end of our time, but these are really great suggestions. And I think what would be useful is to like put everything together into like a small blog post that we can share for other people to reuse. And yeah, with that, I'd love to try and wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining the conversation. And of course, this is a continuing conversation. It shouldn't end here because we need to share experiences, like what has worked in one country that would work for another country is something that would be good to share with everyone. Yeah, so ensuring equal representation in power positions. Yeah, invite a diverse group of people to apply for jobs, provide internet load for virtual conferences so that people can join who would actually otherwise wouldn't have been able to. Yeah, where are the volunteers coming from? Are those pools diverse? So these are really wonderful contributions, and I would like to say thank you, everyone, and I'd love to hand it over back to the session chair. Thank you.
Geoffrey, thank you so much for that. And I really appreciate it. It was very hard to kind of want to jump in and wrap you on time because I think the conversation is both really important. But the thing that I wanted to just stress on that last point that you made there is that you're right. It's a conversation that is continuing. It's not one that ends at the end of this session. So I do encourage everyone to stay in touch with Geoffrey. And I appreciate the presentation itself and just how welcoming you were to everyone that engaged and contributed. So very, very appreciated. Thank you very much. Okay, Dana, I just need to reach to you if you're still on here to check that we're moving straight into the next round of lightning talks. Is that correct?
We're going to show that audacious donor video first, and then we'll be getting into the lightning talks. That's right.